Hello and welcome to another edition of the Health Forum. With me today is Dr. Young-Soo Kim. My name is Carl Messina, and I have to say, Dr. Kim, I'm excited to have you here.
I'm excited too.
I've known you for many, many years now. We go back since 1997, and I really want to talk to you about the ileotin. I think the ileotin, the story of how you got involved with it, and just kind of share a little bit about what happened with that woman in Malaysia, if you will, please.
It's a really personal story because I spent the last 25 years. I spent almost $200 million in doing this business, and I felt so blessed. So I cannot help becoming emotional when I'm invited to tell this story. This is how it began. I was a professor in Canada, in the province of Alberta, where all those oils are, right? And I invented some financial formula, investing formula. I became really successful. And I was invited to Japan. I became one of the most successful finance person in Japan and Wall Street together. The people were excited about my investment strategy, and the people liked it. And I became the vice president of Toyota Automobile Industry Group, Toyota Automobile.
Yes.
And
your background is with MIT. You got a doctorate in MIT, correct?
Yeah, and I also became the vice chairman of a world's largest real estate empire at the time, and because I became I attained a bit of fame at the time, and the Canadian government invited me. And they say, "Oh, Canada, you're a Canadian professor, so you should help Canada to solve these problems." So, at the time, I received a lot of salaries and incentives, from the companies I worked for, and I had 7 hotels in North America here and there, 7 hotels, and and then that's one of the package I received. I was quite okay.
I guess so.
Yeah.
A lot of places to stay. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. That's a very important part of this story. That's why I said I just mentioned hotels. Yeah, and I just visited the premier of the province of Alberta, and then he said, the Alberta government spent so much money on this project. They said they already spent $40 million for 17 years, and they thought this was a promising technology, and no result. So they invited me. You became so successful in Japan as a former Canadian professor, and you should do this thing and make it an internationally successful product. And then they just gave me all those flattery. You look great.
All the accolades.
Yeah, diplomatically, you look great. We appreciate your love for Canada. I'm Korean.
We're pumping the balloon, Dr. Kim.
So I was not, I'm an economist. I don't know anything about diabetes. And so what they did was that because they were worried about their oil reserve dried out, so they put all the proceeds of this oil revenue into medical science, which is diabetes. So the Canada is proud of their leadership history of diabetes research. Insulin is invented by Canadians, right? The 1923 Benting professor in Toronto University. And so they say they are the leaders, but they are the leaders in research, and doing the research has one thing, and then having the product is another thing, right?
Sure.
So they say, we did a lot of research, and Dr. Kim, please commercialize this thing. That was basically their request. And then, as an Asian guy, who grew up in Confucian tradition, we say, nice, you pay respect to the elderly people, right? So I just came back to my hotel, which I owned. The story became personal here. The hotel is such a hierarchical structure, hotel.
Yep.
The general manager knows me, but the bottom guy doesn't know me, right? The cleaners, cleansing, they don't know me. So I entered the hotel. Nobody recognized me, which I don't care. But I just I saw a guy, Koreans are a bit different from Japanese and a bit different from Chinese, right? I know the guy. I saw a Korean guy, very pretty guy, and then he looks like a Korean. So I told him, "Are you Korean?" And he says, "Oh, I'm Korean. I'm Korean too." He says, "Oh, who are you?" "I own this hotel." "Oh, wow." I heard about you. "Oh, is that right?" So I asked him, what are I doing? Then, he said he's a medical student at the time. So I told him, you must be so busy, as a medical student. How come you have time to work for us at night? He says, "Oh, no. Financial difficulties." Okay, I have solutions for you. As a company, I can transfer you to where there's no much physical work is there. You can just study. You just order watches, but you can still study. And we gave a little, not big money, just a little bit of scholarship. And I forgot about it. But after 2 weeks, this guy appeared in my office. I don't look like one, but I'm a big boss. Those bottom guy usually does not come to my office, right? But that guy came, and then, "Dr. Kim, I heard that the premier offered you taking over this technology. How do you know?" He works at that lab of diabetes. "Dr. Kim, I feel really grateful for your help, and let's use common sense. Would I say something bad to you to trick you into trouble, or would I say something nice?" He said, "I think there's a better chance of you're telling me something nice." He says, "Of course, you don't know what that technology is. Don't ask a question, just take it over." He said to me, that young guy. Okay, so I went back to the research office, and then I just talked to the guy. He said the research guy is a very famous guy, actually. That guy is the guy whom you met. That guy connected us to the president of American Diabetes Association, the Yale professor. That is the guy.
Okay.
I met that guy. He explained all this diabetes, all this mechanism, all this. I said, let's make the story simple, sir. Is this a good investment? He says, yes. Then no more question. So I just put out the checkbook, and then we just signed it and gave the money. And it was not much money. At that time, it was just $250,000. I thought that it was just a loss. But we have a venture capital operation in our company, so we can handle the loss using tax shield. We can
Yep.
yeah. So and we make so many failed investment every year. So just $250,000 loss is nothing serious.
So what you're telling me is you were actually looking at it as a write-off.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And then at that time, I just felt that that young guy respected me so much, and he says, "Please invest here." And then I refused. I don't want to lose face. Okay, I say, as a big man, I say, okay, no problem. Carl, be careful. That's how you lose money. Okay, be careful.
Well, obviously, I don't think you lost money on this deal.
And then, I just signed the deal. After 2 weeks, the Roche came in and looked for me. At that time, the largest pharmaceutical company, not anymore, but at that time it was largest. And then they say, Dr. Kim, they have been watching this technology and then research this technology, and then they decided to whether they invest in this technology for last 2 years, preceding 2 years. It's a huge organization. They just that decision-making process was long, and they finally decided to take over this technology. Came to Canada, one guy with just one question, which is it a good investment? And yes, and he took it over. So so they were so shocked, and this guy, how did you know about this technology? And as I said, the cleaning guy of our hotel. Oh, the cleaning guy. After that, he went to Cambridge University, and then right now he's the professor of Harvard Medical School. And he's nominated for Nobel Prize every year. That guy knows something. That guy's a smart guy. So I ran into that guy is I think God's arrangement. So, and I just asked Roche, I'm a finance man. If it's a good thing, I invest. If it's a bad thing, I sell. And then I just spent $250,000, and this Roche guy, I travel, they follow me. And they offered me, they are going to give me $25 million, okay, in Cayman Islands. So they tax-free $25 million. So it's like an equivalent of $50 million, right? Because
$25 million.
Yeah. So within 2 weeks, I made $25 million. I realized that this kind of thing cannot happen to a bad guy. I must be a good guy. So I was really happy, actually. Frankly, I was really happy. But
I guess so.
Yeah. I'm a businessman. Think about this issue this way. You are an owner of the farm. You own a farm, okay? And big oil company came to you and offer 100 times of the market price. What does it mean?
It means they can get 1,000.
There's an oil below, right?
Yeah, there's a lot more below. Yep.
Yeah. Isn't that a commonsensical deduction, right?
Absolutely.
So I said, if that's so, why should I stop at 25 million? If they start, that's a starting price, right? Starting price.
Yeah.
That's a good starting point,
Yeah.
So I said, let's negotiate. This guy used the wrong tactics. What happened was, they can intimidate. They thought they could intimidate me into giving up this technology. So they sent two huge guys, and they virtually threatened me. Dr. Kim, take the money, sign here. They just talked like that. If they had not talked like that, I could have sold the technology, actually, frankly speaking. But they talked like that, and that's not the way you talk to a person. So as soon as they talked like that, I said, sir, you two step out. That's not, before we do any business, I want to teach you how to talk to a person. I want to teach you something. So the guy was so shocked, and then so the deal collapsed there, right? And then for a while I felt so sore that like Youngsu, you just should control your temper. That's not the place you should just bring out your temper like that. But that's how it collapsed. But at that time I thought about it. If that guy offers like that much money like that, this must be something.
Yeah.
Must be something.
There's something to it.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
Now that was initially named P700, no?
Yeah. So I begin to look into this technology at that moment, not before.
And what did you find out?
So what I find out is, so I went back and then I just mobilized all the medical experts, and then all my diabetes friend, what is this? And they say, they cannot believe what this is. This is basically what they say is cure for type 2 diabetes. And also it cures type 1 diabetes too. And then when they are selling this technology to me, they wrote it down as a university in documents. Usually universities don't write those things, right? They just wrote.
Wait, one second, doctor. You're telling me that they were saying that this is a cure for type 1
and 2.
And 2.
Yeah, so they wrote down, if you take this thing 1 to 2 years, you can cure type 1 diabetes. And then if you use this thing 3 months or 6 months, 12 months, depending on the severity of type 2 diabetes, you can cure. And then the cure rate is 70%. That's what they wrote to me. On the basis of what they wrote, I paid the money. So I could
70% cure rate.
Yeah,
70% cure rate.
Yeah. So
incredible.
Yeah. So the if something is wrong, I'm the victim, So I said, really? And so I went back to Japan, and then I was talking to our chairperson of the business group. I said, our group should invest in this technology. And then the chairperson asked me, how much money do we need? In the development of the whole process to get the approval, we may need $800 million. $800 million? The chairman became really unhappy, and this is a chance of success. Usually, getting approval, chance is smaller than 1%. Okay? So yeah. I just told them, there's only small chance. That chairman says, no, Dr. Kim, I respect you. I obeyed you every suggestion, but this one, no, this is too much. But, there's something we call destiny. I really, really wanted to do this. And at night, I could not sleep because I wanted to do this thing, and then our company doesn't do this. So my wife told me, I still really thank my wife for it. And my wife told me, Youngsu, you're still young. Even if you fail, we can always come back and do other things again. But if you don't do this thing now, you will regret this thing for the rest of your life. So let's leave out. Let's remove things which you obviously will regret. So I just told my wife that, okay, there may be a lot of difficulties, but are you sure we want to do this thing? We want to do this thing. She says, yeah. So next day I went to the company. I just resigned and then just received all my compensation. I just took it over this thing myself.
Wow, that's a very smart wife you have.
Yeah, and then as I told you at that time in the beginning, they told me that it will take $800 million, but which I did. It took only $200 million. I saved again. There was a huge blessing there, and then they say it takes
the $200 million. Was that all on R&D research that you did, Dr. Kim?
No, if you are in construction, And if you spend $200 million, you have land, you have the abandoned equipment, you have something left, right? But in this biotechnology, if you fail, you have nothing left.
Yeah.
All biohazard waste. Anyhow, that's the next story. But what happened was that so I went back, and then at the time I just had an interview again, one by one. What happened was they found a formula which eventually will be called P700, and then there was a nurse in that research institute. I think the name was Dvorkin, something like that. Yeah, Korea, something like that. And then seriously diabetic, and they used it just on the nurse, completely cured. And then there was another old lady from Malaysia, blind, and they have to amputate the limbs because of the diabetic gangrene.
Yep. Diabetes, yeah.
And the surgery was scheduled, and then the lady said, "No, I want to die with dignity rather than all this foolish suffering." So I went back. I will go back to my mother country, that Malaysia. And after a few months, she came back, completely cured. So that's why they started to trace, what did you do, what did you eat, and then they just found a couple of them. So all this kind of I would say mythical incident led to the final formulation of this P700. They changed the formula 700 times. That's why they call it P700.
No, that was the Calgary Diabetes Association and James McFarlane.
University of Calgary. University of Calgary and the Julia McFarlane Research Institute of Technology of Diabetes. Not association came later. The Chinese Nanjing Association, Korean Diabetes Association, all they endorsed us. Your product is the ideal cure for diabetes. They endorsed, but that's later. This is in the beginning. Yeah. So the so I just then the painful period. At that time I was really elated. I was happy about taking over, and as I had forecasted, difficult time came. The game is waiting. You just formulate, test it, and then you have to wait. You have nothing to do. I sold one hotel, second hotel,
and you're funding it.
third hotel. I met you at the time. At that time, I think I still have a few 2 to 3 hotels left at the time. But after I met you in Pennsylvania, I just sold another one.
Yeah. Wow, I remember that. Maybe that's how you wound up buying us lunch that day. I'm only kidding.
That was a very great Mexican lunch.
Yes.
So that's 25 years ago. And then after I met you, the selling hotel continued. And then my wife really loved that hotel. The hotel is the apex of all your real estate investments. So my wife really loved it. And then whenever we sold one hotel to fund this foolish project, and it just felt like cutting your own limb,
Yeah. But in cutting a limb and selling the hotel, you're helping so many people out there, Dr. Kim. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Blessed with that.
And then the story really became personal. Do you remember when President Obama was elected? When the election result is announced, he made an acceptance speech, the victory speech at the time. It was a really moving speech because the Obama was raised by is a grandma by a mother's side, right? In Hawaii, right? Obama was raised by grandmother
Mhm.
in Hawaii. And then so there was a special relations between President Obama and the grandmother. And immediately before the election, the grandmother passed away. You don't remember this story?
No, I don't.
Yeah. So the very first portion of his speech was about his grandmother, because few days. So no, think about what the grandmother would feel. That guy discriminated, but so smart, went to Harvard, became senator, and then eventually became the president. But immediately before the election, the grandma passed away. Yeah. So why I tell this story? Something similar happened to me too. So I forgive me for being straight. I was a son. My mother was really proud of. I was I performed well at school, and then became a professor, and I became really successful in Japan. And so my mother was really proud of me, right? Obviously, right?
Yeah.
And then my mother heard that this guy is hooked by a foolish project, and then sold all these hotels, and then by the end of that period, I had a serious depression, because I've been waiting for the approval, and next year, 1 month, next month, I had a depression of I'd lost everything.
Yeah.
Just everything. $200 million from a personal guys is a lot of money,
Really?
I was quite successful at this, but having all this money spent, I just became really depressed. And then my mother passed away. And during the funeral, the approval came down.
That was a blessing from her. She was leaving a blessing for you. That's incredible.
So the first approval came almost 20 years from the start of, 15 years, because I started 1995, and then the approval came almost 16 years later. But pharmaceutical companies like us, the first approval is difficult. Once you have a first approval, then the government already trusts you, right?
Yeah.
From then on, right now I have 150 approvals, and we went public a few years ago, and I didn't really share this story. 2 years ago, our share price went up 10,000%.
10,000%.
Yeah, 10,000%. I think the similar thing is going to happen very soon. If that thing happens soon, you should talk to my secretary first. You cannot call me directly. You will get really mad when I do that to you.
I'm gonna act like the custodian, and I'm gonna come to you with some good information.
I will. So that's basically the story. And then the right now, again, let me be straight to you. I truly believe that our company is going to become the world's largest pharmaceutical company very soon. 3 reasons. One, we have this world monopoly of this P700. Okay, this thing can be turned into so many products. We have the monopolistic position in Alzheimer, hypertension, autism. So we created so many separate derivative products from this main technology. We have no competitors. So the about 30 products we already have. We have no competitors.
Remember, you were saying, Dr. Kim, that most all diseases are from the blood glucose levels.
Insulin resistance.
Insulin resistance.
And then from insulin resistance, it becomes diabetes, hypertension, atherosclerosis, all those autoimmune diseases. All those autoimmune diseases, we have a special solution. If a person has any autoimmune diseases, which steroid gives us temporary relief, we have a solution. Contact us. So we have that huge area where we have absolute monopoly, and also other things like this Calimera. This Calimera we just discussed just a moment ago, and we have another monopolistic position in securing very, very good source of ingredients such as collagen. We have such a collagen. We have a special grip on the source of the greatest ingredient, and we have another monopolistic position in securing the world's best melatonin. Melatonin is from Italy.
Really?
Yeah. Italy, northern Italy has there's a whole area of hundreds of years of pharmaceutical tradition in Italy. So we have a special relation there, and we have a special relations for vitamin D. We have a special relations for securing world best calcium supply. So from these three reasons, I say three pillars, I think I'm not exaggerating when I say we are going to become the world's largest pharmaceutical company. Another reason is not only because we are growing so fast, but because all these current giants are going down. They are shrinking by 25% every year.
Yeah. Well, you think about it. A lot of the prescriptions that people are getting. People are getting more afflictions from the prescriptions than they are from the diseases, Doctor.
Also, their patents are running out. So the patents are running out, and then all the Indian companies are making just mock-ups. So as good as all these real original products. So 3 cents pill, and then in the States a $30 pill. I would buy 3 cents pill. And they don't have no new products in their pipeline. We have 150 products. So and we are already a public company. I think I have reasons to be ambitious here. So that's why I'm excited about having this opportunity to have long, friendly conversations. And then this thing, me personally for so many years, and then whenever I share this personal story, it means something to you. It may not much to other people, but it means something to you because you saw me.
Yeah. Now you've always said to me that there's two enemies when you fight diabetes.
Yeah.
There's the disease itself and the prescription drugs.
Exactly, the prescription drug. Okay, prescription drug. For the first 3 years of usage, it still helps a little bit. But after 3 to 4 years, it doesn't help at all. And it just keeps on giving you the damages. And I say kidney diseases, liver diseases, they say, oh, it all came from diabetes. No, I think 30% of the kidney disease they relate to diabetes actually came from the diabetes drugs, not diabetes itself. Another serious problem of this, because these guys are so litigious, I don't want to specify. Some of the diabetes, oral pharmaceutical diabetes drugs are cause of multiple sclerosis.
MS, really?
Yeah. And because they'll do anything to shut me up. So when many people look for us to Dr. Kim, do you have any natural safe cures for multiple sclerosis? I ask whether you use any of this. Yes, stop it. They just got improved right away.
Oh,
yeah.
I had heard too about aspartame. That aspartame, people that drink a lot of diet sodas
that
with
kills.
the aspartame in it, that the aspartame people have been misdiagnosed.
You want to use a big chemical names, you're talking about artificial sugar, right?
Yeah, aspartame.
That kills. That kills it. I don't
They
want
say a lot of people that drink that, Dr. Kim, they're misdiagnosed with multiple sclerosis, with MS.
They hate this world. They want to go, sooner to God. That's why they drink all those things. As we go along with this serious conversation, let's go cover one by one all those huge misunderstandings and then the cute, safe, quick solutions if there is. So today let's stop here and then we just discuss this.
Sounds good, Dr. Kim.
Origin of this. Maybe I may sound too personal in finishing the story, but that's what happened. Everybody. I was invited to many churches to tell this story as a testimony. Today I removed all these religious parts, but imagine if you add some religious part, this can be a good movie.
Yes, no question. Well, Dr. Kim, what you're doing is you're changing so many lives for the positive, and they're all natural products. Before it doesn't get better than that.
Before we leave, let me just make another, what should I say, presumptuous statement. I from time to time travel abroad. I feel like I'm greater than the president of the United States. Why? President of the United States is hated by so many people in so many countries. But when I go in many countries, people come to me and say, Dr. Kim, I was blind. I couldn't see because of your product. I feel so proud myself.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You've got over 5,000 testimonials, video testimonials.
So you can go up YouTube and check the L-lutein and then any disease name. And because of these 150 drugs or products, there's so many different kinds of patients used up, so many different kinds of products. So you can find L-lutein cancer, L-lutein something. So if you search on your YouTube, there must be a few video, real person testimony. People, we do not count as anonymous testimony as a real testimony. If you are ready to testify, you should tell where you live, who you are, and then what you had, who's your doctor, and I had this thing, I used L-lutein, and I got this. And if you want to verify, here, that's the testimony. We have not really able to fully count, but we expect there are about more than 5,000 testimony, video testimony, and then they say it's the world record for any a single company. How many video testimonies do you have about General Motors? I don't think there's none. There are only
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
That's true.
How many testimonials, video testimonials do you have for Coca-Cola? None. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the I said there was a special blessing of God. So that's why I'm really grateful.
Wonderful. Well, Dr. Kim, thank you so much. Being on the Health Forum, I'm very excited about the series of podcasts we're going to be doing. Enlightening people to alternative medicines.
Yeah. Okay.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, I thank you. So let's keep talking about variety of serious health issues of modern times. As we go along.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Bye-bye.
You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.
Yeah.